Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Tyambakam yajamahe, Sugandhim pushtivardhanam, Urvarukamiva bandhana.
Good afternoon. So the first prayer, please repeat after me. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrutyo ma mrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The days are getting hotter by the day, so we will not trouble you for long. Tomorrow onwards, we will let you free. Tomorrow is the last class, right? అవునా కదా? తర్వాత హాలిడేస్. ఇప్పటివరకు నేర్చుకుంది కాస్త రివిజన్ చేసుకోండి. నెక్స్ట్ సెషన్ విల్ బిగిన్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్ ద ఫస్ట్ వీక్ ఆఫ్ జూన్ క్లాసెస్. అడ్మిషన్స్ విల్ బి ఇన్ ద మంత్ ఆఫ్ మే. మీకు హాలిడేస్, నాకు హాలిడేస్. So please see page number 79. If you have the prayer book in your hands. Only the first line of the last quote. It's a very big topic, but anyway, I will try to share my understanding with you. Competition rouses envy and it kills the kindliness of the heart. Only one statement. Competition rouses envy and it kills the kindliness of the heart. Are we aware of this? Or we think actually we are living in a very competitive world and we need to compete with our fellow human beings to achieve success in life. That is natural, we are thinking. If you just see the greatest people or the people whom we consider as the greatest, they never competed with the fellow human beings, whether it's Buddha up to Mahatma Gandhi. Okay? So they just actually worked upon themselves. They made themselves into a beautiful human beings. That's all. Achieved the greatest success. Never they were in competition with others. We all have studied Darwin's theory of evolution. Gurtunda kasta? Yaad hai? Lamarck theory of evolution, Darwin's theory of evolution. I don't know how many of you really remember. So Darwin actually, his theory of evolution, he says there is struggle for existence, natural selection, survival of the fittest, natural selection, origin of species. These are the four on which actually he has based his theory of evolution. Struggle for existence, survival of the fittest, natural selection and origin of species. He postulated that always the quantum of resources available is always less compared to the number of individuals that are there in the ecosystem, whether the animals or human beings. So there will be competition between the individuals as a species for the limited resources. Then the competition struggle is created. And in that struggle, that individual or that being which has the strength means here not just a physical might, would be reproductive strength. There are some animals, they just proliferate like that. That is the strength they have. So that animal which has the greatest strength, sometimes in terms of physical strength, sometimes in terms of intelligence, sometimes in terms of this, ability to reproduce more. So that species, that individual will wipe out the other individuals in the competition and will survive, and it will snatch away the resources. For example, in a forest, if you look at, see, comparatively, lion and cheetah, they have the same prey. More or less, the food is same. So in that competition, lion wins, because other animals which cannot compete with the lion, they get perished. That's why, hyenas and jackals, wolves, they all actually live in groups, gregarious life. Because they cannot kill a buffalo, they cannot kill a giraffe. So they have to depend upon the kill their lions. Lions they kill and they go. As soon as they see a spot, a lion killing a giraffe or a big animal like buffalo, they go and start shouting at lion, yelling at lion, and they trouble it. So the lion gets disgusted, it can't bear the sounds, and it eats the half and leaves the rest for the wolves and jackals. That's how in the nature works. So coming back to our topic, the struggle for existence, survival of the fittest, and natural selection. So the nature actually picks up that individual, and that species survives, and that's how evolution progresses, he said. So from amoeba onwards, evolution has happened up to human beings. We are the most complex and highly developed being. From single cell to multi-cells to tissues, tissues to organs, organs to sophisticated organs, more complex organs. Then the greatest species, most complex species, that is this. What next? So Darwin has postulated that from here to here, what next? Is it that this human being will evolve into some other species after 1,000,000 years? Our people, our rishis have said no. You can attain perfection. You don't have to evolve into some other species. Maybe with 4 hands, other like Ravana, 10 heads. Not that actually human will transform like that. So organic evolution has stopped with human being. Hereafter, it is intellectual and spiritual evolution. So the problem with today's society is people have not figured it out. What next? Okay, suppose I have this 100 crore worth of properties and money. I can't spend this on my life, on my family. That's more than sufficient for 3 generations or 4 generations of people. But still, I will not stop here. I want to have more. I want to accumulate more. I don't know why, but I have not figured out the next step in evolution. See, hereafter, we are trying to define our life only in terms of the material wealth. We thinking that will give us happiness. But if you just see the billionaires, so-called successful people and celebrities, most of them, I mean, not all of them, but a good number of them are long-faced and morose all the time. Society considers them as successful people, but you just go and look at their personal lives. You ask them, are you that joyful? Are you blissed out? They say, no, I have my own problems. It is the mind. So you have to cultivate the thought. You have to grow in culture. So that's why culture becomes important at a human level. So it is jnana, right knowledge, and positive emotion called love, which makes you happy and blissful from within. With the minimum things and least of things. It is not just the money and it's not the power that is going to bring you peace and fulfillment. So hereafter, from human being onwards, it is intellectual and spiritual evolution. For example, Buddha, he didn't compete with his fellow human beings. He just went and meditated, he discovered himself, and just he was blissed out, and attained nirvana. So if more and more number of people, if they are inclined towards that intellectual and spiritual growth, this kind of competition that we see, the kind of greed, the kind of corruption that we see in the society won't be there. The biggest problem on earth today is human beings not figured out what the next step in evolution is. And that's the reason they are in competition with each other. In the process, you tend to become unkind, unsympathetic, hard-hearted, sometimes inhuman. And then actually you are coming back again in evolutionary ladder. According to our Sanatana Dharma, the law of karma actually, it's like Mahatma Gandhi said, law of karma cannot be hoodwinked. Swamiji says, what you sow, you reap. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. You tend to become a bad guy because, why? Because you are in competition with other people, where you want to have more than what they have. And then actually you will become hard-hearted and unkind and unsympathetic. You will indulge in more of bad karma, and that accumulates upon your head, and that brings you inferior birth. That's how actually you will be reborn, but in an inferior womb. This is how the cycle goes. And those who have figured out these spiritual laws, it's not easy, to figure out these spiritual laws. Our sages are not ordinary human beings. They did a lot of penance for years together, for lifetimes, to discover these spiritual laws. So ahimsa paramo dharmaha, that's a great principle that they have discovered. Why ahimsa paramo dharmaha? By practicing non-violence, what happens? I will evolve spiritually. I will come closer to truth. One day I will attain illumination, spiritual illumination. I will become Buddha. I will become enlightened. highlight and nirvana. Why? Because perfection, actually, truth is already within you. It's very close to you. Only thing is you have to evolve intellectually and you have to touch the spirit by transcending the mind. That will happen only when you become a gentle human being. That's why actually in this culture, because so many sages were born and so many sages have taught the spiritual wisdom to us again and again. As a race, actually, this race, Indian race, is the gentlest, and actually, the Swamiji says beautifully that kindest and the gentlest race on the planet Earth is. We have never crossed our borders, we have never annexed other kingdoms, we have never looted or plundered others. Right? If you just look at history, everybody else either fought on the name of religion or they fought for material wealth. Okay? Wars have happened if you just look at human history for the last 2,500 years. Terrible wars. And we were never involved in it, we never went out of a country and indulged in any kind of war. That's actually the greatness of this culture because our rishis have discovered the spiritual laws. So hereafter it is intellectual and spiritual evolution. But we need little material things, okay, but don't make it be all end all of life. If that you make it, definitely you will come in competition with others. There is no guarantee that you will keep your kindness and tenderness intact. Slowly, slowly you will become hard-hearted. So be aware of that. Thank you. A nice afternoon.